man, Sean, man, Sean. It's
What's up,
always
Jamel?
good speaking with you. It's always good speaking with you, bro. Like, yep.
So
My hat, my hat's over there in the corner.
yep. So, but good to see you, Jamel. We'll get started, bro.
Okay.
All right, FightHype.com here with the former super featherweight champion of the world. After a good fight with Shakur Stevenson and what was a hell of a run at 130, now back in the lightweight division where things are really hot. Jamel, man, first fight back at lightweight, undefeated, healthy, strong kid. First of all, what's it going to be like first fight without Bomac, man? And how's that going to look different fight night?
It's definitely gonna be different, of course. Shout out to B&B, Red Spikes, Isaú, and Bomac, of course. There's no animosity or bad blood. Still love those guys. Even my guy, Terrence Crawford, I still love. But it's definitely gonna be different, of course, with a different team. But at the same time, I have worked with Manny Robles in the past, especially for the amateurs and getting ready for the Olympics. I have trained with him, and he helped qualify me to get into the Olympics, and then he also was in my corner for the Olympics. So that's the reason why I said, listen, if I'm gonna go somewhere else, I'm gonna go with familiar faces that I know that I can trust as well. So that's the reason why I went over to Manny Robles. But yeah, of course it's gonna be different. But we had a great camp, and I'm actually looking forward to this weekend.
Are we going to see? I mean, you said this course is going to look a little different. How much different? Because Bomac had you using your length and boxing really well, boxing guys' ears off, and Robles is known as kind of a more aggressive type style trainer. So
it's funny because me and Manny actually spoke on that. Like you said, he knows. Like let's be honest, in boxing, sometimes you get placed in a stereotype. He's a Mexican trainer, and he was telling me, he said, listen, I know people are going to assume that since you're with me, we're going to have you fight this. Like, no, he said, my thing with you is we take what you have and we tune it up and we add things to it. We don't want to change your style. Like, I've been boxing. If anything, he's been yelling at me to box when in sparring sessions. And like, of course, I've learned some new things. Like, I'm sitting down more on my punches, but the main thing is to box and move with Manny. That's because that's what he know me from the amateurs. In the amateurs, you really couldn't brawl, especially back then on the point system. Everything is, hit and not get hit. So he knows my style. He knows where I came from. So, but no, like I said, Bomac and those guys did a great job. Of course, I mean, they got me to the world title. I mean, and they got me to successfully defend my title on multiple occasions. So that's a lot. But Manny, he's done a lot of great work in his own right. I mean, look at this. He had the huge upset over Anthony Joshua and Anthony Ruiz on a short notice. And, he got Oscar Valdez to his first, title run at featherweight and so on. He worked with guys like Mick Collin. So, I mean, Manny has his own respective body of work of fighters that, on his resume as well.
How is this fight with Jamaine Ortiz gonna go? How do you see yourself winning this fight? He's undefeated and strong. He would have won his fight with Adorno without those 2 knockdowns and still got a draw. Right. And the main question, Jamel, is: are you the same fighter after losing the title to Stevenson?
It's funny. Like I actually don't overthink or dwell so much on the past with at least that fight, because I look at it like this. Anybody can tell you it's Shakur Stevenson. I mean, Shakur Stevenson is a special talent. I mean, of course, it sucks to lose. Nobody wants to lose. But at the same time, if I had to lose to somebody, at least it'd be somebody who's a special talent and not so much of a guy that you was expected to win highly and you just, tanked it, flat out tanked it. But like, no, with Shakur, I mean, we just, I was there live to commentate his last fight with Valdez. You clearly seen the frustration even on a formidable champion on Valdez face with Shakur. Like, Shakur just on a different level. So I take nothing from that. I mean, it is what it is. So like I look at it like that. Like, hey, listen, this guy he was just a better man. He's a special fighter. Okay, whatever. Dust myself off, and we just push forward, and that's how I look at it.
How do you see yourself, being victorious with Jamaine Ortiz?
Oh, yeah, like honestly, you know what it is. Again, when you look at fights like Shakur Stevenson and my guy Lamont Roach and my Masaki Itos and the Carl Framptons of the world, that's what builds the experience. Like I have that experience behind me. Win, lose, or draw, I have that experience behind me. You know, Jamaine Ortiz doesn't have that experience. I mean, yes, he's done well for his own right, but you can't tell me that. I mean, what high level caliber of fighter has he fought? Maybe up until now, well, again, maybe against me, but you know, like I said, experience plays a factor, and plus, I still have that hunger and that dog in me because when I feel like my back is against the wall, I mean, Sean, I mean, look at my career. Every time I've had a setback, I always came back stronger in that following fight. Shavakov, I came back. Al Heyman brought me back February, right after the following year after that, I fought Shavakov, July of 2016, the 2017 February came back. I stopped a guy who never been stopped before. The Ladarius Miller fight, made my top ranked debut. Stopped the man that was proud to go the distance with a young Teofimo Lopez. My man Teo didn't stop him, and he was just a rugged fighter. But I got cut when I had fought him after he fought Teo. I got cut and everything, and my top ranked debut, I had to, my back was against the wall. I had to do something big, and I went out there and left it all in the ring, and I stopped him. And I feel like it's the same situation here. Even when I had the whole setback, and everybody was counting me out going into the Fredner fight because of the old Kennel situation. What happened? Retired, a great world champion in Carl Frampton. So now, I mean, I don't make excuses. I don't make excuses at all. But at the same time, I don't really hold, like it doesn't harm me. Like I said, when I see Shakur, it's all love anyway. And I told him, hey, continue being a great champion, all right, and continue defending that title that you took from me, and what I'm saying, as an honor as a champion. So now I feel like, hey, I actually, and it's crazy, Sean. As a matter of fact, I didn't this was even my first option. My first option actually was to fight. Like said, when I was coming back after the Shakur loss, they offered me Richard Coleman. I said, whatever. I said, make it happen. They came back and said, hey, Richard's team said they're gonna go a different direction. Okay, whatever. I'm not gonna say anything bad about Richard. I don't know the situation, whatever. Plus, my guy Andre Rozier, that's my uncle. I call him Unc. He trained us, so I'm not gonna sit there and disrespect, and say Richard ducked or whatever. I'm seeing now that they want to fight Jose Pedraza at 140. So maybe he couldn't maybe 135 was a struggle for him. So. And then, I was supposed to, they came back to me and said, okay, how about you fighting Robson Conseil at 130? Cool, whatever. I'm like, yo, whatever, make it happen. I mean, whatever I got to do to get back in that title contingency, either at 30 or 35, whatever. But then I heard that, I think he was having visa issues or something like that. So that got scrapped. So, when they came in with Jermaine Ortiz, I was like, listen, man, just do what you got to do to get me back in the ring. So it wasn't like so much of where you see guys when they come back, they're used as the stepping stone. It was no, I couldn't fight, top contenders and the former world champions because of one reason or another. So I had to go with the Jamaine Ortiz, which I'm not shying away from, but when you compare the other two to now, what I mean? It's different levels. I'm not taking them from them, but like I said, I was willing to fight guys who've been there or fighting at a higher level. So for me, I think now I'm going into a fight where, okay, this could be his golden ticket as well. So you have to keep that in mind and not overlook anyone. I really don't, but I'm just pointing out that, I try to go fight the guys out there that we do, that we're accustomed to seeing, every few months or so on TV, whatever, but it is what it is.
And Jamel, being that it's at lightweight, there's huge fights in the division. What do you think of Haney versus Kambosos? Who do you think wins that fight and why?
No, Sean, you my guy, so I got to keep it 100 with you.
Mm-hmm.
It's funny. That's nothing. Before, when I had got the call for the fight, the Comeys and the Conseils of the world, I had also got a call about going to Australia to potentially fight in George, if my man Devin did have signed that contract. So I was on standby. I was on standby. And me, I was like, whatever. I went to Dubai to fight, Carl Frampton. I had no issue traveling anywhere, for a big fight. But that just goes to show, like, I've been offered, or mentioned with still with the big names out there. And for me, it's not so much looking for, like, if you try to say you want to look for the paycheck. No, I'm trying to continue building my own legacy, my own right. But shout out to my man Devin Haney and what he did, because, like I said, a lot of fighters out here today, they're not not only leaving their comfort zone to go travel to fight elsewhere, but he's in a position where he wins, he got to do a rematch over there, and then after that fight, he may have to potentially fight, one of the pound for pound top fighters in Lomachenko. So I give all the credit and much respect to Devin Haney. But back to, in terms of me, that just goes to show, like, listen, I've been up to fight anybody. I think, like I said, I mean, if I take the score fight as a lesson and experience. I don't take it as, man, I don't have it anymore. It's like, I mean, of course, at the time when I lost, I was down on myself, and I was like, I really thought about it. But then, for me, I just had to go home, take some time off, enjoy life, and then I'm like, you know what? Get me back in there. Get me back in there, either at 130, 135, but get me back in there.
Do you have a?
But to answer your question, though, that's a good fight. That is a good fight. I feel like people are overlooking George at times, because George has, in his biggest moments, he has squeezed it out. Because I think his last 3 fights, I do my research, I think his last 2 fights were all split decisions.
Yeah.
But he did just what he had to do to get that decision. Still a win's a win. But like I said, Devin, young, hungry. I think at times his power is maybe overrated. I'm not saying he has to be a knockout artist, but I think he has respectable power where he gets his opponent's attention, where they start to take less risk of going in there with it. Going in
underrated.
Yeah, I mean, definitely underrated. I mean, I feel like they feel like they hold back. I mean, because you could say the same thing about the great Floyd Mayweather. Floyd wasn't, a knockout artist, but Floyd had respectable power where, he'll get your attention or freeze you in your tracks and keep you from, want to throw or jump in that fire. So I think Devin is maybe, in that same sentence in terms of having underrated, underrated power.
Yeah, I get what you mean. These guys have been kind of putting the handcuffs on when they fight him a little
bit.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, because like I said, even like with Shakur, people always ask me,
right, same thing.
I said, listen, it's the punches you don't see that body. Like I said, I got cut up and everything. You know what I mean? Of course, I want to, me being who I am, I want to continue to fight, but I was cut up and bloodied up, so it is what it is. But Shakur did that with the accumulation of the punches, and and even like. They can say what they want about the knockdown his last fight, but he put the punches together, and it was a punch. It was a punch. You know what I mean? Maybe he was Oscar was all balanced, but at the end of the day, it was a punch. And so if you're feather fisted, you don't nothing. You don't have no effect. You don't have much effect on anybody.
And lastly, too, man. After you get it on at 135 with Jamaine Ortiz, a week later in the same division. Gervonta against Romero. Can you please put on your analysis hat? Who wins and what? You're laughing.
I don't want to be. Listen, I'm glad I'm not commentating for that fight, man. Listen, of course you got to go with the guy who's been, fighting at the world championship level for how many years now since Tank? What, 2017?
5 years. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, he's been. And I don't care what the people say. They can say what they want about who he's been fighting, whatever. Experience. He's still been fighting at championship level. For 5 years, and I like Rolly. Rolly's a cool dude. Rolly's a good dude, but I just think that if you got to go with people want to base it on who's gonna get knocked out first, but like Tank is a good boxer. Tank is a real Tank. Like I said, he doesn't go in there just swinging punches the bomb and knock you out. He always he's smart and he boxes and he sets his shots up. And that's how he gets the knockouts. Because after he puts them together, and just that one you don't see at the end of his punches, bam, it's over. And it's not to take the first from Rollies. You know, Rollies is a dog in there also when he wants to be, but you've seen, you know, Rollies sometimes can have those issues with the boxer, with the guy who can box at times. So you gotta like, and that's what I go on. That's what I go off when I do my own commentating. Like I just go off, you know, the pros and cons that they have issues with. Even like when I did the Shakur Valdez fight, like I try, you know, I always try to be unbiased. Like, you know, I of course would love to have been in that spot, but you know, Shakur earned that right. But when I had to stack those two up, I went and had to go look at, you know, the issues that Valdez had with a guy like Cancelo, who's not on Shakur's level, but he was able to box and use an effective jab. And then you guys seeing what Shakur did when he was just boxing and using his length and reach, and it just frustrated Valdez even more than he was with the Cancelo fight. So that's what I go off. Like Rolly's, yeah, issues with the what's the guy that everybody thinks. Everybody gets on him about, and that's what I mean. And Tank and box, and like I feel like, you know, people think they're going to just throw bombs, and I'm like, no, Tank is going to go out there and take his time, of course, and do what he do and get the W however else. I mean, he was just like, they can all say what he want about Cruz. Cruz is a tough dude, and you know, Tank weathered the storm over there as well, and he came out with the victory.
So, thank you, Jamel, man. We'll all be tuning in ESPN Saturday night here in Las Vegas when you fight undefeated Jamaine Ortiz, Janibek, Alimkhanuly doing the main event. You know, so
I'm winning. Like I said, I'm coming to win. And like I said, after I handle business there. It's funny. I spoke. I did an interview for Ring Magazine, I think last week, and they had mentioned that their whole situation, even with Shakur potentially moving up in weight, but like the fact that me and Oscar Valdez is still number 1 and number 2, you know, in their ranking. So that's it. I don't look ahead, but like I said, I still want to keep 130, the 1 per 30 pound division in mind. You know, I haven't fully left it in the rear view. So, like I said, if there's a big fight at 130 or 135, even if I fight, you know, with Valdez in the future down the road, I'm all for it. But like I said, Sean, you know me, I'll fight. As long as it makes sense.
Man.
Yeah,
as long as it makes sense. Up, you want us cracking those titles.
Listen, yeah, I mean, like I said, I just want to, like I said, I can say I was a 2-time world champion before I call it a day by anything. And that's what keeps me hungry now. And like I said, I got to go through Jamaine Ortiz first to get back in that title run, and so be it.
Man, thanks for letting it be known, man, that whether it's 130 or 135, you're up for the big fights there. Thank you, Jamel, for your time, man. Thank you.
No problem, Sean. Thank you.
Take care, man.